Welcome to the Raise Your Bars podcast, where it's all about elevating your life one step at a time. With your hosts, Chris Baker and Al Rattan. Together, we're here to guide you through the transformative journey of self-improvement and success. Have you ever wondered what behaviors and actions you need to change to achieve the results and success you desire in life? Well, you're in the right place. Each episode, we dive deep into the strategies, mindset shifts, and practical steps you can take to raise your bars. From personal development to professional growth, Chris and Al share their expertise, experiences, and the occasional tough love, all designed to empower you to reach your full potential. So, whether you're looking to make a big change or simply fine-tune your path to success, grab a seat and let's raise those bars together. Now, let's welcome your hosts, Chris Baker and Al Rattan.
Well, we're back with another edition of the Raise Your Bars podcast. And Chris, I missed you last week, man. I missed you. We still had a great recording with my good friend Valerie, who is a business owner, an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, I guess we could call her. Very successful businesswoman, and also my bookkeeper. So she's started her own bookkeeping company a couple of years ago, so I use her services, and she's become a good friend and a trusted confidant. And but we had a great podcast last week with her. But it's always good to have the dream team back together here, Chris. Now, so how was your week away with the family?
It was good. We went on a cruise, and we only got the ship, the private island. We didn't get off on the other two ports because they weren't too great, but it was good. It's I think I did a post on it that that's saying, whilst that ship and that cruise line wouldn't be our preference for Vicky and I, it's not our usual cruise line. It's who you go with that makes the trip. Right. Absolutely. And so it's remembering that, and it sort of ties in with what we're talking about tonight in a way. So, but it's really, to me, it just, I read this book again while I was on the cruise, and did some meditation and just sort of me time. And it's really just, again, about finding the good in everything, right? Because there is good in everything. And if we look for it, we'll find it.
Yeah.
If we don't look for it, we'll find negative.
Yeah, exactly. And sadly, the media of today and what's going on in the world, it's very easy to see the negative. But at certain times, we have to stop and express our gratitude for things. And that's what we're talking about tonight. And the book we're talking about, if you haven't heard some of our past podcasts, is the book by Bob Proctor, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. And excuse me. And the chapter we're looking at tonight is chapter 7, which is about gratitude and expressing that gratitude. And I think this is something that a lot of people, again, put the blinders on or are only seeing the negative out there in the world and forget that there is that also a lot of good. And that we probably, if we really spent some time looking at it and examining our lives and where we're at and the people we have in our life, there's a lot to be grateful for. But I think a lot of people miss that point.
Sure. Because people take certain things for granted, right? And they therefore don't think that they got to be grateful for those things. When you're asking people, what are you going to be grateful for? They got nothing to be grateful for. I haven't got any money. I haven't got, the job I want or whatever. And so again, they're looking at what they haven't got instead of what they have got.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's really that shift of our paradigm, that shift of our mindset or our belief system that can turn the tables on that. I haven't got this, to look what I do have. And Bob in here says, one line I've highlighted here. I got three lines highlighted in this one page. It says, gratitude is the attitude that hooks you up to your source of supply.
Looking at that same line.
There you go. We're on the same frequency here. But I mean, so if I asked you, what does that mean to you, Chris? What would you say that is for you when you are being hooked up to your source of supply?
It's a good question, and I don't know there's a right or wrong answer, right? I think it's different for all of us. But to me, I look at it as a source of supply of my thoughts. Right. So a little bit like what where Tony Robbins says, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I think of it in the same way. Right. So if my thoughts are negative, if my thoughts are of lack and of scarcity, then that's my source. Right.
Right.
And therefore I'm hooked up to a source of scarcity, lack, and negativity. Whereas if my thoughts are of what am I grateful for? What am I, who do I love, and what's the good that I can take out of every situation? Then I'm hooked up to positivity and to
Right.
abundance, and those things. That's how I look at it. How about yourself?
Well, I would look at it for myself, again, coming from my faith background, I would look at it as, God or the universe or again, I'm not going to push my beliefs on anybody else, but for my belief system would be hooking up with God or the universe
Mhm.
for some, right? And that my expression or being in tune with that, or him, or however you want to say it. I don't want to offend anybody on our podcast here. Okay.
No,
So Chris and I just talk and share our thoughts. Nobody get offended. Okay. This is who I am.
no.
And I love you for who you are. And I hope you love me for who I am. But for me, it would be my relationship with God, my faith. It's
Mhm.
important to me. And I believe that when I'm at peace in that relationship, in the sense that I feel like I'm living my life like I believe I should be with my values and my belief systems, then that I am hooked up with him in that
Mhm.
sense, and that I can express gratitude that way because I believe that he provides for me. So
Right.
again, that's that for me would be how I would want to be. And I don't want to be shy of my faith and or hide that from anybody, but that's just who I believe it is. I believe,
What?
and that's how I believe it works.
Yeah.
So
And I think
yeah,
that's a similar thing, though, Al, really, right? I
yeah,
think because
absolutely.
what you're
Different way
doing
of
is
expressing it.
yeah, because if when you're at peace and you're in harmony with God, or with I mean, some people call it the source, right? The
Yep.
universe or whatever it is. When
Yep.
you're in harmony with it, that's that positivity, and that's that good, and that's that
Right.
love, and everything. When you're not, if you're angry, if you're bitter, if you are just mad at the world, who are you hooked up to then? Right? Because if you take it in with your faith, you would probably be hooked up and aligned with the devil, right? At that point, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so to me, it's a similar thing. Again, just a different way of saying it.
Right.
But I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's
Yeah.
again, it's who they say that the universe doesn't give you what you want; it gives you who you are.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You what
So
you
it
sow, you're gonna reap, right? And that's just the way
right,
that is a law of the
exactly.
universe, no matter who you are or what you believe in.
Yeah,
That is a law of the
yeah,
universe. You plant corn, you
yeah,
get corn, right? You
yeah,
plant negativity, you plant ingratitude, you plant that ungratefulness. Well, guess what?
yeah,
That's all you're going to see out there is
yeah,
ungratefulness coming back to you. And it's actually
yeah.
kind of funny in the book because he says, send love to the people that bother you when you would probably like them to be in a car accident.
Mhm.
Right. But he talks about this energy flowing to you and through you. And
Yeah.
if we're concentrating on that frequency of harming others or despising others or hate, I hate the word hate when it comes to
I know.
being focused at another human being. I don't like that word because I think there is too much hatred in our world. And if we would just learn to appreciate other people
Mhm.
for the fact that they have blood running through their
Mm.
veins and they have value,
Right.
then we could eliminate that word hate in our life, and there wouldn't be the
Yeah.
prejudices and the wars and the debates on tonight in the US. We're recording this on Tuesday, and the debate is
Mhm.
on. It's going to be full of, like, what's the word, vitriol, hatred,
Yeah.
spewing insults at each other, instead
Mhm.
of you know instead of telling everybody, hey, here's what I believe in and here's what I'm going to work
Yeah.
towards for you,
Exactly.
the voter. It's going to be
Yeah.
attacking
It's
each other
like
instead.
this is why you should vote for me, not what it will be is, this is why you shouldn't vote for them, right?
Yeah.
And I think you know what you're saying about the the love versus the hatred is that again, you will attract what you're thinking, and you will be on the frequency, and when you're on that frequency, that's what you attract. So if you are turning a situation and allowing it to make you bitter, to make you angry, to give you those feelings of hatred, you're living on a frequency of hatred, right?
Yeah.
And you're living on that frequency of bitterness, and
Yep.
then
That's all
nothing
you're gonna
good is
find.
going to come from it,
Yeah.
right? Whereas
That's all
if
you're
you
gonna see.
take the other option, which is to be better, so do you want to be bitter or do you want to be better? Take that better option. Basically, welcome that situation, right? That you could turn it into hatred. Welcome it, and then
Mhm.
release, right? And then get back
Exactly.
onto that frequency of love and harmony and goodness. And then you're on that different frequency. You're going to attract that love, harmony, and goodness. Don't fester, allow that bitterness, hatred, anger to fester inside of you, because you're just going to attract more of that, and eventually it's going to explode, right? It's like
Right.
a kettle that's boiling. Eventually that steam has to come out. It can't just boil and boil and boil forever. It has to come out. It releases it.
It has to be released. And that's when people explode and go postal, and that's why we have all those different sayings, right? All this tragedy that
Right.
happens, all this tragedy that is happening in the world, and there was a school
Yeah.
shooting in the US again last week, which is
Yeah.
horrific and horribly sad, like heartbreaking
Hmm.
sad. But it all happens because someone allowed hate
Yep.
to build within their heart. Even, yes, mean things, I guess, were being done. There was bullying and stuff going on, but they allowed that bullying to turn into hatred towards others, which led them down a path to doing this evil.
Mm.
The bullying is not right either. That's hatred as well, right? But the thing
Yep.
is, it's
Yep.
all how are you going to process that? And I think, like he says in the same section of the book, he says, love everyone. And I
Hmm.
think that, if we could walk through life loving everyone, and this is not romantic love
Yep.
people, this is just valuing people. And, Chris, it's kind of funny because I was doing a mastermind with a group of people, and we were going through the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, which is an excellent book, folks. If
Hmm.
you haven't read it, you need to read it. And in one of the chapters, because it talks about influence, and he talks about valuing people. And we were watching a video of this presentation, of Mark Cole, the CEO of John's company, says, we need to value people. And one of the people in the group says, I don't understand. What does it mean to value people? And I was like, I almost had one of those looks on my face, like, what are you talking? What? How can you not know? But this
Yeah.
person was very, very, very task oriented, right? Down to business. And
Hmm.
they asked, what does it mean to value people? And we actually ended up having a really great conversation. And then at the end of that conversation, this person went, now I see. Now I see, right? So he came
Hmm.
to a new level of awareness by the
Right.
conversation to
Yeah.
value people. So, anyways, I thought that was just
Yeah.
interesting, maybe tied in
Well,
here. I don't.
and I think that's again a couple of things there, Al. That's the power of the mastermind. One, right, that we learn about really in Think and Grow Rich, and then the Maxwell team use that, where you leverage the minds of other people aligned with yours to raise and get a higher understanding of things. But it's also another great example of aligning yourself and associating with the right people that are going to lift you up.
Yes,
Because in
exactly.
another setting, if that person was in another setting with a lot of other task-minded individuals, they would go, "That's BS, right? No, we're not going to do that. Yeah, we got
Exactly.
to get the job done,
Yeah.
and that's it,
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah.
They have to earn our respect and earn our trust and earn all of that. And if they don't do it, then they got no value to us, right? That could have been the outcome in a
Yeah.
different
You're 100%
setting,
right.
right? Um, Again, it's like what frequency are you living on? Are you living on one where you're open and you're willing to love everybody and value everybody and see them for who they are and the good they bring and the good they do? Or are you closed minded and you shut off to anything other than what you know from your subconscious programming and live life that way.
Yeah. And I think it's important, and tying this back to the gratitude end of things a little bit too. I think it's easier to express gratitude when you value people, right? Than if you don't
Mhm.
value them, because then you're
Yep.
never going to take the time to express gratitude, and then you're missing out
Yep.
on receiving that gratitude as well in your life. Now,
Yeah.
there are times when, and Bob quotes Sandy Gallagher, his business partner in here. There are times when there is that too much negativity or those things that are dragging you down, that you should just walk away. And she
Mhm.
says this, I guess, in some of the seminars: respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, helps you to grow, or makes you happy.
Yep.
That could be people, that could be a job, that could be a friendship. It could be, whatever, right? There, any of these things.
In just a conversation even,
Just a
Y
conversation. This is dragging me
that could
down. It's sucking the energy out of me. I need to walk
yeah,
away.
right. And what's that saying, like, do you wanna be do you want it's something about do you wanna be something or do you wanna be right? And it's about, like, if
Yeah.
you're in a conversation that is dragging you down, that even if you know the other person is wrong, right?
Mhm.
And you just do you wanna, like, fight and fight and fight to prove that you're right? Or do you just wanna go, "That's fine, let's walk away,"
Yeah.
and then go and off and do that? The second option is the best one, right? But how often do we get embroiled into an argument or a discussion because we wanna be proved that we're right?
Yeah.
I don't anymore. I will walk
I
away.
don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth my energy, my time, or it's not, you know what? It's not even so much in the situation. It's the fact that I'm playing it over in my mind for hours afterwards, causing me to lose sleep even at sometimes, because
Right.
so I've completely lost my peace because of something that happened
Yeah,
earlier in the day. I've gotten
yeah,
much better as I've gotten older, to just let things go. Just
yeah.
let things go, right? And, I had a friend of mine, once, he goes, "Yeah, as you get older, you just stop giving a shit." Right? Like, it's like, you know
Well,
what? It's like, not that I don't care about things or people anymore, but it doesn't I don't allow it to affect me as much as it used to when I was younger, less
right.
wise, less experienced.
Well, it's
I've
more
learned
about
to let it
picking your
go.
battles, right? Yeah, you pick your battles because
Yeah.
is it worth it? And I will admit I used to be like you said, like you were saying, I would stand and fight for what I thought was right. And if
Well,
I
that's
thought
your
I
high
was right,
D
I would
type
stand and
personality,
fight.
my friend.
I know it is, yeah. But what good did it do me? Like you say, all it ended up doing, it never resulted in a agreement, right? Because the other
No.
person probably thought they were right too, right? And so all that then is you then part and then you wound up and then it affects everything else in your life. So what it's exactly what we're saying, because you allow yourself to get onto that frequency of anger, bitter, resentment, frustration, and therefore you're living on that frequency, you're going to get even more of it. Whereas if you sort of look at it and say, hey, is this in my control? If it is, do something about it. If it's not, walk away, let it go. Right?
Right.
And then get back
Exactly.
to your frequency of love and abundance and appreciation and happiness and positivity. And then you're rising up there, and that let that other person stay down there where they are. Right?
Exactly.
That's their choice.
The saying is, would you rather be happy, or would you rather be right?
There you go. Right. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
I was
There you
I,
go.
I
I
was
want my
trying to think.
happiness. I'm going to be happy. You can be
So do
right
I.
all you want. I'm going to walk away in peace. I wish you all the best. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, too, even in those situations, as you're walking away, you can still love that person and leave it on good terms. Hey, look,
Right.
we're not going to agree on this situation at all, but you know what? So let's just stop it right here. I wish you all the best. You have a great day. And
Yeah.
walk away, right?
Yeah.
So
Be the bigger person. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't always have to have the last word. And I'll tell you, the unfollow or unfriend buttons on Facebook are the greatest invention ever besides Facebook. No, I don't think Facebook's
Right.
that great, but I mean, like, it's so nice to be able to I've unfollowed or unfriended dozens of people over the years just because I can no longer, when I'm scrolling through my feed to get that dopamine hit, scrolling through my feed, and just the negativity that a person would always have, I just can't be a part of that anymore. And I don't want any part of it anymore. It's ruining my frequency.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And the problem is you see those things, and even if you look at it, what happens with those algorithms is, oh, Al wants to see this, I'm going to send him more of this.
And more.
And then you're flooded with it. So snooze it for 30 days or unfollow, unfriend, and that's fine. Because if, oh gosh, we could go down a whole new rabbit hole here, right? Could. Because you could look at Facebook and say, oh yeah, I've got 5,000 friends on there. No, you haven't. You've got 5,000 people connected with you. How many of those do you talk to on a daily basis?
Right. A handful.
That's how many friends you've got.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're bringing this in for a landing. So we started out actually talking about gratitude and went way out there and back again, I think. But I think the main thing we want to throw back to you, our listeners today, is, Bob actually talks about this in the book again. How often are you spending time expressing gratitude for things? And he talks about here, he says, whenever you're disturbed, whenever things are bothering you, sit down somewhere where it's quiet, take a pen and a pad, and ask, what do I have to be grateful for? And then start listing those things out. Find the things that you're grateful for. And that is going to bring you peace. It is going to have that positive energy flow to you and through you. It's going to hook you up to source. All these good things are going to happen if you take some time, quiet yourself, and pen to paper. This isn't fingers on a phone. Pen to paper and start writing out the things you're grateful for. Yeah.
I have a little book at work, and I started doing that yesterday and writing those 10 things down. And at first I was like, oh, gosh, I was struggling, and then it was like, oh, I've done my 10 and I've got more. But I just stopped at 10, and then you write down again and you do other things. And again, folks, if you're listening, it's not all about money in the bank, right? Have you got a roof over your head? Exactly. Be grateful for that. Do you have food on the table? Be grateful for that. Do you have transportation? Be grateful for that. Do you have somebody that loves you? Yes. Be grateful for that.
Yes.
All right. I'm not going to give you 6 more because you can think of those yourselves. But that's just examples, those things that maybe we take for granted. Well, let me correct that. We take for granted.
Absolutely, we do.
Instead of showing gratitude for it.
Yep, absolutely. So, well, there you have it, folks. Again, hey, visit raiseyourbars.com. Visit it today. Watch our webinar on there. If you are a business owner and you are experiencing the troubles that a lot of business owners are experiencing today, retention of staff, slower turn down in sales, and tighter profit margins, then you need to go to raiseyourbars.com. You need to watch our short webinar. You need to book a call with Chris and I, and we can help you navigate the storms that a lot of businesses are currently experiencing. So go to raiseyourbars.com. And again, if you found value in this podcast, please share it with friends, family members, coworkers, and thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing day.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Raise Your Bars podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please consider sharing it with your family, friends, and coworkers. We would sincerely appreciate it.